Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The Masters Tokyo playoff bracket has been set. Edward Gaming with a shocking losers bracket run in their group to make it all the way through to the playoffs, but a very controversial bracket at that, with PaperX playing DRX again and some other factors as well in play. Very much enjoyed to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Firstly though, a remarkable set of tweets that hit the timeline just after yesterday's video went live on the something situation. So he's currently a player for PaperX. He's a Russian player, so getting out there to Japan is definitely causing issues. But he tweeted this out yesterday, crazy raccoon on the wall, and if we look at the top here, we've got some Japanese text. So this definitely implies, here he is, he's made it to Japan. Congratulations. After all the debates, just like Demon 1, they didn't think he was going to make it. He did just in time, and something just in time for the players of PaperX seems like he's going to be there. That's certainly what this implies, and therefore that's certainly what people will think after seeing this, right? And he full well knows that. Turns out though, that is not the case, as we get to this tweet from Nikhil, who's co-founder and CEO over there. Proof that some journalists in the scene don't do their jobs properly. A lot of people were fooled already. Like, I guess he's just saying this is an elaborate troll by something to have the community on. But, you know, what really is the purpose of that other than to just make people frustrate people, right? Because people saw this, thought that he was there, and now it's like, no, he's actually not. Unlucky guys. Like, what's the punchline of that joke? There isn't one, really. The punchline is, you're going to lose to DRX, probably is the punchline. But we'll see that in a second anyway. So he says that, thanks to those that reached out to us for confirmation. For some of you, quite a shame, really. We learned about it. Ilya is here in Singapore with us. He is safe in the visa application process moving forward. It's just very complicated and takes many steps because of his unique situation. So here he is in Singapore. And then it was confirmed afterwards that this photo was an old one. He used to live in Japan. It's an old picture. So unless they're like double baiting us here, and actually he is in Japan after all, and he's there in time for the match, I don't really understand what the purpose of this whole saga has been. So yeah, according to PaperX, he's not there, despite him saying that he is there, or at least implying that he is there. I don't know what's going on, but that's all we know for now. So if this is true and he's actually not there, basically today was his final chance, right? Let's be honest, right? If he's not out there literally today, that's it. There's no chance. And even then, I'm sure their practice hasn't been ideal, because I'm sure they've had to practice without him in the roster. And if he comes back in, it's not going to be ideal. And they played DRX in controversial fashion. We'll dive into in a second here. A team that's had some good warm-up already here in the group stages so far. So that's the something situation. From our current understanding, it doesn't look like he's going to be there, does it? Unless the troll from something is actually a double troll from their co-founder and CEO, so we'll see. There might be updates on it coming soon. Also an update coming here for Psycho, who tweets this out, which, you know, Thursday 8 AM Pacific time, which implies that there's some sort of announcement coming for him with the nice aviators on here. So wonder what's going to happen for him next. I know there were some rumors the other day that maybe a move to M80 or something as one of their guys could be an option, given that they're going in to the kind of Ascension tournament with a lot of expectation for them to win it. So yeah, Psycho, formerly of Sentinels, recently of Sentinels, and Xset before that, is potentially lining up another opportunity. But let's dive into Masters Tokyo, because this was a pretty well set of events. First of all, EDG, and we'll get back to them in a second, have announced a brand new Game Changers roster. I believe these girls did pretty well last year, actually, and nearly made it all the way to the World Championship. So their signs that Edward are certainly gaming all across the board, and they were certainly gaming against Na'Vi. So this was a series that was a real statement, right? So Na'Vi lay lose to NRG in a close series. They drop all the way down, and now they play Edward Gaming. It's tough for Na'Vi, because Edward Gaming are a team that, how do you really prepare for them, right? It's kind of impossible to do. No one really has any VOD on these guys. You know, individually they're talented, but you know, are they a good enough team? That's the question. But I mean, Chichu here gets the job done with a remarkable 1 versus 3. They're already up 1-0 in the series at this point, and that was enough to help them close out the entire series. I mean, I think this went to overtime this game too, actually, but the emotions here were phenomenal for EDG, and what a result, right? Na'Vi out of the tourney is a crazy set of events, and that wouldn't have been what I expected to happen. I thought that, look, NRG and Na'Vi, they should be favoured as the two teams to get through, but no, Edward Gaming vanquished them, and then they vanquished all opposition to make it through. So 2-0 for Edward Gaming over Na'Vi. Yes, Na'Vi weren't incredibly impressive recently in the EMEA side. They lost to Foot Esports, of course, and yeah, don't seem to be quite the same team that they were last year when they were FPX. But I mean, mean, yeah, so what was super impressive here was that, I mean, this overtime was wild, but it's not just Edward having the talent to outplay these guys and outclass them, but it's actually having the ice factor, right? If there's one team that I would have expected gone deep into overtime to have enough to get over the line, Na'Vi I would expect to be that team out of the two, but no, Edward Gaming went back-to-back, 17-15, 14-12, remarkable, and they advance on to the next round, where they went on to play T1, and they destroyed T1. This is super impressive, right? Because Edward Gaming, they played T1 in the first round, they lost 2-1, it was a close series, some nice shots here from Kankang. Like, this guy is so much fun to watch, ridiculous on the operator, and had just so many moments like this. So another first blood here that he delivers on the operator. I mean, he was doing this like every round, it felt like at one point, and this game one was not even close. They destroyed them on the fracture, they took them to Haven, and basically did the same thing again. I mean, Kankang making more plays here, just completely shutting down their defensive side, and yeah, it was 6-2 at this point, it was swiftly 7-2, and then that was just job done. So Edward, yeah, I mean, what a team, and after they got their victory against Na'Vi, they turned up to a new level, and they just destroyed T1 off the server. This guy, I mean, look how ice cold he is as well. So yeah, really exciting to see, and it's also definitely somewhat concerning for the rest of the Valorant world, that the fact that it's in closed beta, is it not, right now, Valorant in China. It's not exactly playable on a level that you might expect, but all of a sudden, and we expected it at some point, one of the Chinese teams was going to deliver. Edward Gaming was always the most likely, players like Kankang, and that's what happened. So 4-0 map count after dropping down from the winner's side, taking out Na'Vi in a close fought affair, and then taking out T1 at 2-0 as well, and this wasn't even close. And as Zeta says, heartbreaking defeat, nothing much to say, you have to be stronger at the World Championship, but they failed to make it out of the pools, and it's Edward Gaming that make it through. So a 2-0, and this was not close, right? I mean, obviously Chichu, Kankang, like, they all had great maps here, but 13-4, 13-6. I mean, this was not even competitive. A 10-2 first half on Haven. Edward finally got over the line on the second half, and yeah, that was clean. So they advanced through to the bracket in remarkable fashion. We also have DRX, they play Foot Esports, and Foot Esports took map 1 here, and there was a lot of discussion, wow, DRX, have they fallen off? But, you know, doesn't really seem to matter what the storylines are. They always seem to find a way to make it to like top 6, top 4 in these tournaments, and this might be another example here, right? So yeah, they win this series in the end. They come back from 1-0 down. They lost by 39, but then it was 13-8, 13-4 on Haven in the end to get them over the line. It's a good result from DRX. It was a bit sketchy, but Buzz really delivered a great series here, and that left the brackets looking like this. So of all the teams to get through, I would have probably predicted 3 of the 4 of them, but not Edward Gaming. I would not have said they were going through, and that's very interesting for Chinese Valorant and for the rest of the tournament in general, because the teams they have beaten in the fashion they did so, they can be a serious candidate. This then is the bracket, and this is where things get a little bit controversial, isn't it? Because this bracket, we have no idea how it was formed. We believe it was a random draw. We don't get to see the random draw be done, to my understanding. It's just done behind the scenes, and they release what the bracket is. I'm also massively surprised that they still don't restrict first round games from the same region. They do this in the World Cup in FIFA, I'm pretty sure, when if in the first round you can't play a team from your locality. But that's exactly what's happening here. PaperX played DRX round 1 again. They've played so many times lately, including in their home region very recently in the finals, and that's a round 1 game. Feels kind of bad in a way, does it not? Like, in an ideal world, I would swap around, like, let's say DRX and Loud, or something like that, between these two series, because you've also got Loud EG, and Loud EG, we didn't see it, you know, we saw it a little bit ago now. EG got 13-0'd, right, on that map. You guys might remember, they did win a map in that series, though, but then got bodied on map 3. But we have 2 first round games that are from the same region, PaperX DRX, a non-full strength PaperX to our understanding, and then Loud EG, which is, you know, an America's battle. So, I don't know. I don't really like the way this has gone. I think I would prefer it if they were to create these matches without any intra-regional matches in round 1, but that's what they're going to do. So, PaperX DRX, they play round 1, and that's coming up. I think today is like an off day, and then they crack on again tomorrow. I will say, though, Fnatic NRG is a banger, right? It's about time we have these ones. Loud and NRG on the opposite sides of the bracket. Finally, they might not meet each other. They might still meet each other, but yeah, Fnatic NRG, NRG, like that's going to be really exciting to watch. Fnatic are going to be the favourites, but that could be really tasty. And then Liquid EDG, pretty interesting that one of those teams is going to make it through without too much difficulty, but that could be a really competitive series as well. So I do like the bracket. I just wish that there was a swap around here between this first and the fourth game to make things even better potentially. And as Som says, it is time. So NRG versus Fnatic, it's definitely for NRG not the side of the bracket you'd want to be on. Ideally, they'd have played like, they could have matched up against EG, that was possible, and then they could have played Team Liquid or EDG. But to play Fnatic first, and even if they were to win that, to play probably DRX, I mean, look, DRX are definitely beatable, PaperX could win, and look, PaperX would be favoured if they had something, but without something, you've got to think DRX are the favoured team in that particular matchup, right? So, yeah, the other side of the bracket is very, very tasty. The other side is very interesting for Loud. I mean, Loud EG, I'm really looking forward to as well, because those two teams, they played a while ago. Loud lost game 1, I'm pretty sure, and then they 13-0'd EG. But EG are a lot better now than they were back then. That was kind of the start of the EG redemption arc, when they were starting to get good. They took a map off Loud. People were like, damn, EG, they might kind of be legit. Then they got 13-0'd, and people said, all right, they're back in the mud again. But turns out they're pretty good now. So I do, and also you've got to consider, right, that these teams that are playing into the playoffs first have less preparation time. EG, Edward Gaming, NRG, and also DRX, they've had 2 or 3 matches already on LAN in front of this crowd in this setup, and they go in a little bit hotter, right, to the series. So that is also an interesting piece of the puzzle here, that it's possible the teams that have already played come out a little bit hotter in game 1, and maybe that's all EG need to get a result there. But yeah, gonna be wild. I like the way the bracket is shaped up. I just think there's some questions I would have, and as Ethan says, yeah, hopefully they can win more than one map this time, and yeah, hopefully they can win more than one round if it does go map 3. But very much enjoyed to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.